Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. My name's Osirus, and in today's video I'm going to show you the easiest method to get a Shiny Charmander in Pokémon Legends Z-A. The elusive hunt for the Shiny Alpha Charmander continues, at least for myself. I've got over half a box of regular Shiny Charmanders, a few Shiny Tepigs, lots of Shiny Lucarios, and a couple of Shiny Hippowdons to boot, but that one Shiny Alpha is definitely eluding me. The method that we are going to be going over in today's video is something that you can apply yourself in game with very little setup, just following along the steps that we've done, and you're going to be able to get yourself that regular Shiny Charmander or that regular Shiny Tepig, no trouble at all. The alphas, I can't guarantee, they're a lot harder to find, but hopefully you get lucky. You might not be going for an alpha at all, but if you follow this method, it is going to be something that you're going to be able to get in game a lot easier than the current methods of fast traveling and hoping you get lucky. Of course, before we get into the video itself, I need to give huge credit to Pape Jefe, who has put countless hours into this specific method. So all their socials will be linked down in the description if you want to check their channels, socials out and give them a follow. I would definitely recommend it. They put in so much amazing work and research into these hunts to find the most effective ways for being able to get these Pokemon a little bit easier. So before we jump into anything specifically, I just want to give you a brief overview so you can get your head around how this area and Wild Zone 20 works. Of course, to get access to Wild Zone 20, you're going to need to be in the post game to hunt Shiny Charmander and Tepig in the first place. But when you normally come to this area, it's the rocky area here, and you're only gonna, under normal circumstances, have two spawns here. There's gonna be one in the southern area, and we'll split this area into two portions. We'll call it the southern area, which is next to the Centrico Plaza fly point, and then the western area, which is going to be next to this western gate here. So that makes most sense for me how to explain it, and then you know what areas I'm talking about. So in this southern area of this rocky terrain, you're going to find that one Pokemon, but it has 4 different spawn locations. So there'll be one spawn on the field, and there'll be 3 empty spawn slots around it. These different spawn points can be wherever this Pokemon appears. Now down in the western area, you're going to have another spawn in there, but it's only got 3 different spawn locations in this area. Now, all of these empty spawn slots in both the west and the south areas can be filled out. So you could potentially fill them all and come to this area and have 7 total spawns. You're never going to have more than 2 of one species though. So you can have a Charmander in the west end and a Charmander in the south end, but you're never going to have 3 Charmander in this one specific area. And the same rule applies to every one of the 4 Pokemon that appear here: the Lucario, the Hippowdon, Tepig, and the Charmander. Now for this guide, we're not really concentrating on any of those western spawns at all. The 3 down there, they don't come into any consideration, so we can ignore them for this video. What we're going to be doing is overloading the spawn slots in this southern area, so we end up with 4 spawns in total. We'll have a Tepig, a Lucario, a Charmander, and a Hippowdon on the field at one time. By doing this, we can then change the configuration of how these spawns appear in these slots. So we essentially want a Charmander and a Tepig towards the back spawns, and then when we've got those there, with the Lucario and the Hippowdon at the front spawns in this area, we can then move a set distance away from these Pokemon to despawn the back ones, but keep the front ones intact so that Lucario and the Hippowdon stay on the field the whole time, whereas the Tepig and the Charmander despawn. When we get closer, they respawn in, and we're doing that in a very short period of time. So going backwards and forwards, we can cycle through the Charmander and Tepig to hopefully get that shiny appearing very, very quickly. And as you can see here in game right now, this is something that I've been doing for a little while, hunting for that elusive Shiny Alpha Charmander, but I've not had any luck. And now 3 of my 4 slots I've got in this area are all shiny. So the Hippowdon, the Tepig, and the Charmander. And what I'm going to do before we set this method up, I'm just going to clear everything out from this area. I'm going to despawn everything, let 2 new spawns come in, and then we're going to start this process from fresh, like it would be you coming to this area in your own game, so you can follow along and we can get this shiny hunting method set up together. Okay, so to set this method up, what we're going to be doing, flying to Wild Zone 20, and then we're going to be coming in and we're going to be setting up a brand new day. So the first thing that you want to do is just give yourself as much time to set this up as possible. So if you're in daytime already, just tick over tonight and then back to day again, because a night cycle is going to be 8 minutes long, whereas a day cycle is 16. So we give ourselves as much time to do this as possible, and then we are good to go to get this set up and start overloading the spawn slots in the upper end of the area where we're hunting Charmander and Tepig as well. So this is definitely the best method, I feel, for shiny hunting Alpha Charmander or Alpha Tepig. And if you just want a regular shiny of either of those, this is going to be a really easy method. There is a little bit of setup, but you will get the shiny in no time at all. And it's a way more reliable method than fast traveling back to the zone over and over again, which doesn't really give you a guaranteed shiny anytime. So now we knocked out everything in this area. It has reset back to normal. We've got our 2 spawns here. We've got in this lower end, we've got a Tepig in this area, and then we've got a Charmander in this upper area. And this is the area that we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be taking 1 spawn here and turn it into 4 spawns. So essentially we're going to end up with a Charmander, a Hippowdon, a Lucario, and a Tepig in this area. Now to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to aggro the Charmander or whatever Pokemon you've got in this area. Hippowdon and Charmander are probably the ones that you want to aggro to move, because we are going to be moving them. So I'm going to try and get the Charmander down onto this lower area because I liked it. Yep, there we go. And now we've got its attention. We want to just move it all the way around until that aggro, the red eye, disappears. And at that point, that's your cue to drop a hard save. And I thought it was going to happen there. We're basically breaking the leash here of this Charmander. So there's the red eye disappearing. Drop that hard save. We'll close the game down completely and we'll reboot back in. So once we're back in the game, we can move the Charmander up to the gate. I like to just move it up to the gate. It's not necessary. You don't need to. You can just do this next step from wherever it ended up, where that red eye disappeared. But I do like to move up to the gate to do this. It just has been a little bit more consistent for me in setting this up every time that I do it. And I've done it a lot recently. So once you've got the Charmander at the gate, the next step is going to be just dropping a pin on top of this Charmander, or close to it as possible. That is way too far away. Let's see where that pin is. It's not too bad. And what we're doing is just moving 65 meters away from this Charmander. It's between 60 and 70. I always like to go for that middle ground. And once you get to this distance away from it, drop that next hard save, close the game down again, and then we're going to reboot one more time. So now you're back in the game. You want to just head back down to the Charmander. It should still be there. If you go over 70, you've got the chance to despawn it. So just try not to go over 70 meters away from it. And now, before we move it, we can go back down to the area down here to see if we've done this right, because there should be a spawn here. And you can see there is a Tepig there. So we've done this correctly. If there's no spawn in that location, what you can do is just reset your game and move maybe 66 meters away. If that doesn't come back, check. And then if that doesn't work, then just move 67. It might just be a bit of a distance thing that you need to just tweak around with. But if everything goes right, there is a new spawn there. You just come back to the Pokemon that you've dragged away. And then we want to just move it back into this area. And once that red eye disappears again, you want to just drop another hard save. You want to close your game again. And then we're going to come back into it. So we've essentially moved the Pokemon away from its original spawn point. We've then moved ourselves away from the area, so a signal's been sent back to the game to generate a new spawn, and then we'll bring in the original spawn back into the location, and you only need to bring it within 50 meters of its original location. We'll bring Charmander a little bit further back. Again, this is just a preference that I like to do just to be super safe, super sure that it is in the area where I'm trying to get it to be respawned back into, because this is its original location. So I'll drop another hard save. You don't need to do this, but like I say, just for consistency reasons, I like to do it. So now we're back in the game. You can see our Charmander we've brought back to this area. We should have that other spawn in there, which I don't know if I can see right now, but all we're doing at this stage is moving away from the area about 70 meters just to despawn everything in the area, and then we come back to it. I like to just go around this tree and then come back. Just an easy way without having to drop a pin here just to gauge the distance. And when we come back in, we should have 2 spawns in this upper area now. We've got a Lucario there, and then we should have a Hippowdon. Brilliant. So you can see 2 spawns in this area now. So we've taken that 1 spawn in this area and turned it into 2 in this upper area of this zone. Now we're going to be taking 2 and turning it into 3 Pokemon. So I'm going to try and get the attention of this Hippowdon without aggroing the Lucario. So I like to do it one at a time. I feel like it's a bit easier. So Hippowdon, come with me. That's it. Brilliant. Now, when the Hippowdon's down or whatever Pokemon you're leading out for your next one, you're going to just do the same process again, like we did with the Charmander, until that red eye, the aggro sign goes away. If you get to the gate before that happens, then you can just come out of the gate and you can drop a save and then reset the game, completely close it and reboot into it. And like before, once we're back in game, we drop that pin as close to the Hippowdon as possible, just on top of it. It's hard to get it exactly on top of the Hippowdon. That'll do. And then we want to move that 65 meters away from it one more time. And when we're here, again, we just drop a save and then we close the game one more time and then we reboot. So now we're back in the game. We come back to the Hippowdon and then we can come back down to the original area as well. We'll come back and get the Hippowdon in a minute, but we want to just check to see if our distances have been right. And we've got 2 spawns in this location now, which looks as though we have. We've got a Charmander and a Lucario, which is great. So that has worked. The distances were right. Now, next step is bringing this Hippowdon home. So back down to the area where we got it, get its attention, and just drag it back down. And again, this can be done with any of the Pokemon that spawn in this area, like the Tepig, Lucario can be dragged as well. It's just easier to do with the Charmander and the Hippowdon because they essentially chase you a lot easier than the other ones that stand there. Tepig focus energies a lot of the time. Lucario likes to just stand in sword stance. But it can be done with any of them, just in case you're wondering. And now we're back in the game again. I'm just going to move this Hippowdon a little bit closer. Like I said, it just needs to be within 50 meters of the original distance of the original spawn point that we took it from. So you'll be safe as soon as you do. But I just like to get them from gate to gate. Take them up to the other gate when I'm leading them away. That's always a nice safe checkpoint. It keeps the method consistent as well. And then when I'm bringing them back, I like to bring them back down to this gate. Might seem like I'm just doing extra steps that I don't need to, which you don't need to. But if you want to follow along and do it like I am, then that's fine. And again, if you want to just judge the distance, if you want to go more than 70 meters after you come back into the game, after you've brought that Pokemon back to the original area, then you can drop a pin when you do this. 70 meters is just past this tree. That's why I like to use this tree at the top of this avenue, and then I just loop around it, come back, and I don't generally need to drop a pin then when I'm doing this. So when we come back into the area now, we should have Hippowdon, we've got Lucario and Charmander, which is brilliant. So we just need one more. We need to do this one more time, and then we've absolutely maxed out all of the spawn slots in this top end. So again, just grab your Charmander or your Hippowdon. I prefer Hippowdon because Charmander tends to just fire spin and it's a little bit annoying at times. Come on, Charmander. There we go. Now follow us. Right, it's on the road. So we're again just looking for that red eye to disappear as soon as it does, or if we get to the gate before then, we can leave. That aggro sign will disappear, and then as soon as it does, we can drop that hard save. We can close the game and we can reboot back in. Okay, back in game. I'm just gonna, like I have been, I'm just gonna bring this Charmander up to the gate. I can dodge these fire spins in the process. Come on, Charmander. Right at the gate. And that's perfect for us. You know, I could do this guide and I could just show you once about leading the Pokemon away, bringing it back and say, repeat this 3 times. Yes, I could do that. But I feel like this is not the easiest of methods to kind of get your head around, understand the spawn points from coming into it fresh, never doing it before. So I hope doing this whole process from start to finish, something that helps you kind of follow along. There are going to be those of you out there that don't need the kind of every single step of the way, because once you've seen it once, you'll be able to kind of replicate it yourself. But I know a lot of you might appreciate just being able to kind of have this whole step from start to finish done and me setting the whole thing up so you can do it for yourselves. So once we're at 65 meters away again from the Charmander, after we've led it to the gate, drop that hard save, we close the game again, and then we're going to come back in one more time. Now we just need to check to see if all of our distances have been correct so far. If they have, there should be 3 spawns now in this lower area. And we've got the Lucario, we've got the Hippowdon. Have we got a Tepig? We have, so it has worked. Again, if it hasn't worked, just reset, just move maybe 66 meters away, 67, and then just drop that hard save, come back, check, and if you've got the spawn, brilliant. If you haven't, it's just going to be a distance thing that you're going to have to do. Now, when you've got that 3rd spawn there, you just want to, once again, get the Pokemon's attention and lead it back. And when that red eye disappears, drop that hard save, close the game again, and reboot one more time. Now we're back in the game. I'm just going to do what I've been doing because it works every single time. Just lead this Charmander back down to this gate down here, or as close to it as possible. Come on, Charmander. And then we'll drop this final save. I say final save. We got one more save to do after this, because it's going to mean that you lock in this setup. And once that's done, we reboot the game one more time. And now we just move that 70 meters away or more from the wild zone area. We go up around the tree, top of this avenue, just before the stairs, and then we come back down to the wild zone. And if everything's been done correctly, we should now have 4 spawn slots in this top area, and there should be one of Tepig, Lucario, Charmander, and Hippowdon. And you can see they are all here. Hippowdon just hiding behind that big rock there. So successfully done it. Every time we come to this area now, we're going to have 4 spawns. The only thing that is going to mess this up and you're going to lose spawns is if you fast travel to the Centrico Plaza. So don't travel or fast travel to the Centrico Plaza. If you're going to fast travel, always fast travel to Wild Zone 20, and that'll keep your spawns intact. Day-night cycle ticking over, you're not going to lose spawns during that, so it's safe to do bench resets. But unfortunately, there's no benches close by that are going to allow us to like target these. There's no bench within 50-meter radius where we can use it to despawn and respawn any of these 4 Pokemon. Now, what we're going to do for this next method is we're going to head over to Wild Zone 20. And by doing that, we're going to be configuring these 4 Pokemon. So once you've done this, you are going to want to firstly start a brand new day. So we're going to cycle day to night and then night to day. So we give ourselves as much time as possible for the actual shiny hunting method. This is the initial setup all done. You can see it didn't take us that long to do it. We still had a good, what, 5 minutes, probably, maybe more left of our day cycle to run. So maybe took us like 10 minutes to set up total. You've just got the extra time where you're closing the game, the loading transitions as well on top of that to contend with, but actual gameplay was less than 10 minutes to set up. So it's very straightforward. And when you've got that new day set up, you want to come this way and around to the area up this side, and you can see all 4 spawns are still here, which is kind of proof that you can do a day-night cycle. And what we're going to do, we need the back spawns where that Lucario and the Hippowdon are. We need those to be the Tepig and the Charmander. So before we drop our hard save, what we're going to do is try and configure that. Now, to configure it, you can just keep constantly flying to Wild Zone 20 and come back to this area and hope that that configuration is set in stone. But there is another way to do it as well. You can just run up and down this parade on the outside of Wild Zone 20. I generally run up to the grass area here, and then I run all the way back. And by doing that, you're despawning all the Pokemon in this area, and that configuration of where these spawns are going to be located will change around. As you can see now, the Charmander's at the back and the Tepig's at the back, so this is perfect. And we've got an Alpha Hippowdon, Lucario at the front. Now, this spawn here is always an annoying one. I would always recommend just knocking it out as soon as possible, because it's not anything that we need to worry about. This spawn in the west side of this area isn't something that we're going to be shiny hunting at all. So once you've got that configuration, like I say, we've got the Tepig and we've got the Charmander at the back. So can we see if Pardon gets out the way? There is a Charmander behind there. and a Tepig there. And the basic idea now is we're going to be dropping a pin on top of the Charmander, and you want to try and do this without wasting as much time as possible. So just run up to the Charmander right on top of it, and we are dropping a pin on this Pokemon right here. So we've got that. And the other area you can drop a pin is going to be down here on this Tepig. So we've got just the distances with where these Pokemon are spawning in and out. Now we just want to move back to the west gate and just let these Pokemon go back to the areas where they're originally spawning in. And now when you come through the gate, if we just run up here, and you can see the Tepig and the Charmander will spawn in and out. And all we're doing is coming this distance. When we come down here, you can see the Charmander popping in. And we're just going to be running down to the fence, I guess, is a nice easy gauge. And then running back up towards the lamppost. And you're just going to do this loop. Because when you do come up here, you're going to see the Charmander pop in. You'll see it despawn. And then we're just going to continue this. So this gives you a way to isolate hunt for Tepig and Charmander. And before you do this, you really should drop a hard save. Now, when it takes over to night, because you've got this configuration linked in, you can just let the day-night run, but you're going to have to reconfigure these Pokemon by moving away from them to get them in the positions where you want with that Charmander and the Tepig at the back. And then you just rinse and repeat this process. Now, I don't generally move any of the Pokemon that we've got in this area down onto this lower area just to hunt the Charmander, because you can just hunt the Charmander in this one location as well. So I could potentially move the Hippowdon, the Lucario, and the Tepig and move them all down into this area and then drop a hard save. So we've just left that Charmander in this upper area here. And then you can just do this same method with the Charmander spawning in and out on the field. But I don't mind the extra shinies. And if you do get something like the Tepig and it does become a shiny, you don't necessarily need to catch it straight away, because then you've got the target of the Charmander. The only thing is that you would, if you're going to catch one of them, you're going to need to write over that hard save that you've got locked in, if that makes sense. So every time that you're hard resetting, you're coming back to the point where we drop that hard save, and then you can just start this loop again. And you can see we're going to be getting alphas onto the field. No shiny alpha. There we go. There's an alpha Charmander there. So every time you do this loop, you are generally getting a new set of Tepig and Charmander onto the field. You'll always get this western end spawn coming in, either here where the Tepig is now or behind this rock. If it's in this location under the trees, it's always worth just knocking it out, and then you can just rinse and repeat this. Now, I've been doing this over the entire weekend. I've been on the hunt for that alpha shiny Charmander. That's my target. I'm not going to complain if I get an alpha shiny Tepig either, but I've got probably about 16 shiny Charmanders so far, and I've reset over, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 this morning. I know. But it's just the fact that I've got so many of them now. I am only focusing on the alpha. So this is going to be a really easy way for you to set this up in game. Get yourself a shiny Charmander or a Tepig. It's super easy in this one area that can otherwise be a little bit inconsistent or harder to shiny hunt in. So just following the steps that we've done here is going to be a really easy way for you to make sure that you can get yourself that shiny Charmander, or maybe even the alpha shiny Charmander. And I'm going to be very, very happy for you when you do get that alpha Charmander. I don't know how long it's going to take me to do, but it is feeling like a very long grindy hunt. But at least this way, we're getting a lot of resets in a very, very short amount of time. So this is the most effective way to hunt for this Pokemon in these games at the moment that we've currently got. So that's essentially how you hunt for a shiny Charmander in your copy of Legends Z-A. There is that little bit of setup, but it doesn't take long, and once you've got it locked in, you're going to be good to go, and hopefully you can find that shiny Charmander in no time at all. I'm going to be continuing going and looking for that shiny alpha Charmander. I'll update on the community section of the channel if I do eventually find it. I would have loved to have had it for this video, but unfortunately it is just taking that little bit longer, which is to be expected. If you go for the alpha Charmander or the Alpha Shiny Tepig yourself. Good luck with it. I really hope you get it. If you do, let me know down in the comment section below. Of course, big shout out to Pape Jefe once again. And I just hope this method and how I've broke it down in today's video is helpful in you obtaining your own Shiny Charmander, of course. So we'll wrap it up there, friends. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck with those shiny hunts, and I'll see you all in another video very soon. So until then, take care and bye-bye.